Welcome to the Living in Sedona channel. I'm Cami. Guys, I am so happy to be back home. We just got back home from a visit to Florida for our son's wedding, and we had a great time. But one of the things that I was surprised at while we were there is we had some conversations with people that had a lot of misconceptions about what it's like living in the state of Arizona. So that's what we're talking about today on this video, what it's like to live in Florida, what it's like to live in Arizona. So stick around. And don't forget to stick around to the end to hear my opinion. As always, I like to tell you where I am videoing from, because if you come and visit, then you might want to take a stop at some of these locations. I am off of Upper Red Rock Loop Road in West Sedona, and there's a couple, I think about 3 pull-offs when you pass the school, and the pull-offs are going to be on the left-hand side of the road. And these pull-offs allow you to see Cathedral Rock. From this one, you can see Cathedral Rock and Courthouse Butte. We've come down a little ways, hiked in a little bit because we have it's kind of busy with people here today. And you can also see Munns Mountain. So that's where I'm at today. So if you're in town and you want some great picture spots, let the sun get over on the other side a little bit, and they really have some great picture moments. So I also want to just let you know I'll have the relocation guide sporadically up on the screen throughout the video. And if you feel like this information is informative and helpful for you, please make sure that you like, subscribe, and share, because it helps people find this information. Let's get into comparing some of the things about living in Florida versus living in Arizona. So right off the bat, this was a conversation that I had while we were out in Florida this past week, and I kind of just chuckled about it. They think in Florida, they think we live out here in the wild, wild west, and all we do is have guns, cowboy hats, ride horses, and it's hot, 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 hot. And that is not, of course, the case at all. We like our big trucks and our cowboy hats and our cowboy boots, but it is not always hot, hot, hot. Let's think about this for a minute. Florida, as we know, is surrounded by the ocean, and so the state basically has beaches surrounding it. And even as you move inland in Florida, you have a lot of lakes and canals, some swampy areas, and the whole state is actually like that, creating a very hot and humid environment no matter where you are at in that state. Arizona is completely different. There's a lot of people that don't realize that the further north you move in the state of Arizona, you are actually in the mountains where they get snow. It gets cold there. They have harsh winters. So in the state of Arizona, we have such a very vastly different topography throughout the state, whether you're moving north and south, that you can be in the mountains in the northern part of the state. Move south, you can be in high desert where you do experience you hear all that honking? They see us videoing and they're giving us a thumbs up, right? As you move down from northern Arizona, you can be in that high desert area, where in that area you actually experience 4 seasons, which is one of the reasons I love living where we live, because we have a mild winter, we have a beautiful fall, and the summer is just awesome. It's a dry heat. It doesn't feel that like it's 100 degrees, and it's just very comfortable. The further south you move in the state, going into the low desert, of course, we're talking about the Phoenix and Tucson area where it is hotter, but again, a dry climate, not a lot of humidity, and still, it's hot. I know it's hot, but this state, you can be from hot, hot to hot, mild to mild, mild, cold. So it's just such a vast difference where Florida just has, you know, a hot and humid environment, maybe a milder winter, not snow usually. I know there's been cases in history where it's happened in the northern part, but overall, that's not the case. So I just was kind of chuckling when they said, why would you want to live in the desert? And again, does it look like I live in the desert? I don't know. We have a lot of green here. So anyway, I just thought it was funny. And then, of course, the other thing, they're all concerned about the snakes, the tarantulas, the scorpions, even the bears. Someone mentioned a bear. And I said, well, yeah, we have these things, but you have alligators. So I just feel like the wildlife in both of these states, you're just swapping one for the other, if you want my opinion. However, if you are an avid hunter, then the state of Arizona is probably going to be a better option for you, because we do have the mountains in Flagstaff. So if you want to try and hunt some mountain lions and elk and maybe see some bear, then that's the better spot for you. Whereas in Florida, you just have to make sure that there's no snakes where you're walking and the alligators aren't coming out of the ponds with their beady eyes at you, or the canals, or anything. You know, our son's wedding was by a pond. We had somebody on alligator duty during the ceremony. I'm not kidding. I'm literally not even kidding. All right. History and culture. I love history and culture. I think that it's just so interesting to study different cultures and see their way of life and how they live. And I do believe that both of these states have been influenced by outside cultures. Both of them have been influenced by the Hispanic, Latino culture. You see that in the foods that they have served there, especially lots of Mexican food, lots of Latin food. We have the entertainment is also, you know, with the dancing and music, we have that flair. But I think one thing that sets Arizona apart from that is I do think that you probably would come here and probably have some of the best Mexican you've ever tasted. But we are heavily influenced here, even still to this day, by the Native American culture. We have a lot of Indian reservations still here in Arizona, and so we are surrounded by, I think, not only their culture, but their way of living. And you see that in some of the spiritual modalities, some of the healing modalities. It's not uncommon for you to see people, you know, really trying to take in the earth and the minerals into their body with some of their practices, and that is a Native American thing that you see out here. And so although both of those states are influenced by different cultures and both mostly Hispanic Latino cultures, I think Arizona has more of the Native American feel to it. So if that's a culture that inspires you and you like to learn about, then it's definitely a good spot for you. All right, my last thing on the list that I'm going to talk to, and I'm not going to get too crazy with it, okay, it's the cost of living. I just want to point out a few things. I'm not going to talk about the cost of real estate because it's just been a crazy 2 years with this economy, you guys. Florida, no income tax, which that's a plus. Arizona, we do have lower than the national average on our income taxes. Both of them have lower property taxes. I can say one of the things when we moved from Ohio to down here, I was very shocked at the amount of property taxes that they pay, which is not a lot. And so that's also a great feature for both states. But one of the things that I think we're hearing more about is the cost of insurance. And I'm talking about homeowners insurance and also auto insurance. As we all know, Florida has been hit with all of these hurricanes. So naturally, we're hearing a lot about what the homeowners insurance is costing people. A lot of people don't realize that in some areas in the state of Arizona, our homeowners insurance is also high because of the forest fires. And sometimes you could be not only in a forest fire region, but also in a flood zone. And so those are two things that will definitely impact your homeowner's insurance. And a lot of people don't think about that. One of the things that Greg and I experienced this year, and I feel like all of my colleagues experienced it as well, was we had a huge cost in our auto insurance this year. Arizona and Florida are huge states for auto theft. And so the insurance companies have raised our rates. I mean, we even called to ask if they made a mistake. That's how high it was. It jumped quite a bit. So just keep that in mind if these are two states that you're looking at, because those extra costs are going to add up if you live there. And then I felt like gas prices were very similar to us while we were there. I do feel like their groceries are just ridiculously priced. I don't know what's going on down there. But I left Publix because I thought they were too expensive and went to Winn-Dixie. But anyway, I don't feel that overall there's not a vastly huge difference in the cost of living. I think they both are high on the same things. And so, I don't really feel like that's got much of a factor in making a decision. So, all right, well, hopefully I've given you some information that maybe you didn't think about and maybe you didn't realize. But make it a great day at Living in Sedona. Like, subscribe, and share, and I'll see you next week. And I know I said I wasn't going to give my opinion in this video, but I just have to add one thing. What I noticed while I was in Florida this last week was we were there for 5 days, maybe 6 days, 5 days, 5. And the sun was only out like half the time. And you see this blue sky behind me? There was none of that. No blue sky. It was like light baby blue. None of this deep blue that we have out here. So I didn't know really what to do about that. I was already missing the sun being gone that long. So I don't know where the sunshine state thing came from, but I think we have like 375 days of sun in Arizona. I don't know what Florida has. I probably should have checked that before I said that. But yeah, I just was not impressed with that this last trip.